Commander Brown, Detroit Urban Survival Training. This video is in response to a recent tragedy involving a school in Texas where many children and 2 teachers lost their lives. This is an unfortunate and horrific event that is something we can change as a society. And the way we do this as a society, as a community, is focus on prevention. It's not guns or a lack of guns or having more guns that are the solution or the problem, because guns aren't the problem and guns aren't the solution. The problem is people that are violent having access to harming other people. And we have to focus on that as a nation. So what we can do is focus on opportunity denial, the same philosophy we use for airport security. At airports, we do not allow gunmen onto aircraft. In fact, we don't even allow them to get close to the aircraft because we prevent them from getting through checkpoints before they can even endanger an aircraft or the people on it. And that's the same philosophy we need to use for every single school. You should not be able to get on the property, number one. That means that every single school needs to become a safe space. And that means that there's no way you can get onto the property without having authorization verified. The second thing we need to do is make sure that we structurally built the schools for safety against gunfire. The same thing we've done for fires. So in other words, just like we have fire retardant paint that's in every school, and we have fire doors that are required, there's also a fire suppression system that is required in schools. We need to have the same amount of planning and strategy for gunfire prevention, just like we have for fire prevention and suppression. So ultimately, what's going to keep our schools safer is building them safely in the first place. That means that you need to make it so that we, as a society, have schools that guns can't enter. That means they get searched, people can't bring them inside, and where they are in those corridors, there's bulletproof glass that prevents them from shooting anyone outside of these corridors, so that you can't simply go and shoot up the front of the school. And the same thing needs to be done for all public structures, really. But ultimately, the school shootings can be prevented if we think about preventing these shootings through opportunity denial. And number 3, making sure that we prepare the children to defend themselves and the school teachers, so if somehow someone gets through with any kind of weapon, there's still people that have the ability to protect themselves and keep themselves safe. This is something we've done here in Detroit, training both school teachers and students and faculty members on how to keep the school safe. We've been doing that since 1996, and we will continue to do that. And we encourage everyone, no matter where you are in this nation or in other countries, to think about how to prevent the conditions, not focus on responding to those conditions. But remember, the first people are going to have contact with gunmen or any kind of other kind of violent person in the school, this person's called the first contactor. The first contactor, that's a term we created that determines the person that is going to have contact with the threat first. And that term, first contactor, is something that is very important, because without that training, we're just hoping that somehow they stay alive long enough to call 911. And in this case, what we do is train people as first contactors so they know what to do. They know how to de-escalate someone if they can, but first and foremost, they know how to read body language so they can actually see the intentions of people before they have a chance to actually aggress and attack on people in the school. So what we want to do is make sure we share that information with you. A lot of the information you're going to see on our videos will help you manage school safety as well. But we want to encourage you to seek ways of focusing on prevention rather than response. Ultimately, the key is to think the same way we do about all things related to public safety that is successful, such as aircraft safety. And you see the same thing the Secret Service does for the president and other dignitaries. What they do is simply prevent the conditions. And the way they do that is pre-planning and prevention-based. So as opposed to responding to a situation that's already in play, typically Secret Service and all professional protective service organizations focus on the prevention more than response. Response is important, but what's way more important is preventing the conditions. We call that opportunity denial. And we focus on that here at Preventive Threat Management in our training system, and we show you how to do that. So ultimately, no matter where you are, if you want to manage, if you want to manage violence, you want to create conditions that are safer, the way to do that is to simply focus on the prevention of the conditions that lead to the violence. Deny the opportunity for it to occur. Focus more on prevention than on apprehension or intervention. And what you'll get is a safer situation in which everyone can have a more likelihood of survival. What you're looking at is the ability to have intelligent options so you can increase your survivability.